Hey everyone, welcome back to TopherDrives, where you once again join Emily and me for a little day in the life video with another 6th generation Toyota 4Runner. However, unlike the other two that we have reviewed on TopherDrives, this is not an off-road oriented truck. We had the Trail Hunter, which Emily very much liked because it had the little snorkel that made boost noises. I liked that too. And then Tedward was here over the winter and we had the TRD Pro and we evaluated what that one was like to live with. This is the Platinum. So there are 12 trim levels of Toyota 4Runner available, and this slots in at spot number 10. So this is just below the Trail Hunter and TRD Pro price-wise. This starts at around $64,000. This one as spec'd with its fancy heritage blue paint, which is actually a no-cost option. But the real fancy option on this is the power running boards, or are the power running boards, I should say, and we'll talk a bit more about those in a second. But with the couple of options this has, it's $67,000. Though this Platinum does come standard with a locking center differential, so you are still able to get your Pavement Princess Edition 4Runner nice and dirty. Now, we are going to be doing very normal stuff with this today. We're going to go and get some coffee. Yep. And then we're going to go to Costco and get some totes and test out the cargo space in the back of this. But that's what this trim of the 4Runner is for. You know, this is for crawling around malls and looking cool. So under the hood of every Platinum is the iForce Max 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder hybrid, making 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. We have an 8-speed automatic, and like I told you earlier, this is 4-wheel drive. Now, Toyota will also sell you a non-iForce Max 4Runner, but the Platinum, they're all iForce Max, similar to the Trail Hunter and the TRD Pro. So if you pay up, you get the top powertrain. This is rated at 23 mpg combined. This week I've been seeing between 15 and 18, depending on driving style, and we saw this with the TRD Pro as well. It wasn't quite as efficient as Toyota promised. In fact, Tedward and I filled up that TRD Pro during our video, and even with the 19-gallon tank, it was showing like 220 miles of range or something, which is not great. Yeah. So one of the coolest things about 4Runners that you still get in the 6th generation is the power rear window, which you can roll down from the back. And in my mind, this is for surfboards. Yeah. Because, you know, you drive around in LA, you've got the surfboards hanging out the back, and I really do think that's what this is for, because older versions of the 4Runner were sold in other markets as the Hilux Surf. So it's sort of a surfing car, but yeah, you can do this. There we go. And this is a power hatch as well, of course. This one has the optional LED light, which is blinding at night, but helps you see your cargo, I guess, if you're loading things in. Since this is the hybrid, the load surface is super high. We've got this dealer accessory cargo net back here, which, will this help us today? I don't know. Maybe it will. Perhaps. But you get this little cubby as well for extra stuff. You can see somebody was doing something with this. It's got lots of dust and stuff. A couple cool little Easter eggs. You've got a 4Runner logo right there, but I think the coolest one, if we can get this guy back down, up here it says 4Runner Forever. Oh, that's cute. Isn't that cute? Yeah, it says it on both sides. But lots of strong heritage here. You know, if you were someone that drove a 4Runner in high school or college, what was that like? Yeah. Let us know in the comments. Anyway, exactly, yeah. Let's show you this iForce Max powertrain. It's so weird to have a power running board coming down on a 4Runner. It's just so interesting. Usually you see these on 10-year-old Lincoln Navigators stuck down, going down I-94 because they break. But we'll see how the Toyota ones hold up. Would maybe like to see hood struts for $67,000, but on this we have a prop rod, and there is the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. You've got just a standard intake on this. The Trail Hunter and TRD Pro, obviously they've got different intakes. Now, this is not really a hybrid in the way that other Toyotas are. This does not ever really drive itself in EV mode unless you're like coasting off of an exit ramp or something like that, but there is no standalone EV mode. So I guess the last thing to talk about on the outside are the wheels and tires. This Platinum trim gets these black wheels, and you do still get some decent sidewall. You get a 265/55 R20 on a Yokohama Geolander all-season tire, which is an interesting choice. But I do like that they still give you a bit of sidewall, even though we have these larger wheels for the Platinum trim. Platinum also gets the black door handles, the black badges. We have a head-up display inside. We have a trailer brake controller. This can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which is pretty decent. And like some of the other top trims here, we get these clear taillights. Let's check out the back seat. Probably one of the weakest points of this, I don't know, do I call it a truck? Do I call it an SUV? Whatever. I think the spec here is fantastic. Heritage blue with the navy blue interior. This is your only choice when it comes to speccing out a Heritage blue Platinum. But I think the double blue goes pretty well. And you've got this really cool contrast orange stitching in here as well. And the Platinum gets these special, they call it like premium leather seats. So they're a little bit softer, I think, than other trims. It's just a little bit of a tight fit back here. A little bit of a tight squeeze. At 5'11", sat behind myself. This isn't its comfort access position, so normally it would be sitting a few inches further forward. But my knees touch the back of the seat. And I don't know, it's just maybe would like to have a little bit more room. At least they give you some extra headroom back here. Fold down little armrest with some cup holders. You've got heated outboard rear seats. And then you get a wall style outlet and a couple of USB-C ports. But I think if I could compliment one thing about the back seat of the 4Runner, it's that you do sit up a little bit higher and you can rest your arm on the door panel. So it makes you feel kind of cool even from the back seat.
So good.
Anyway, you've got a cup holder in the door panel as well. And you know, I think this Platinum is trimmed out a little bit better. You know, people have been giving some grief to the interior materials used in this new 6th generation 4Runner, but they put some leather here on the top, which is nice. You've got the matching navy leather on the door panel. So I'm going to let this power running board go back up. I have noticed that it squeaks a bit when it fully extends itself out, so we'll see if we can catch that on camera. Yeah, it squeaks a little bit at the bottom, though it looks like this truck has been driven a bit off-road, so it's possible maybe there's some grime and things up in there, but I imagine you probably have to lube all of these points maybe every time you go in for an oil change or something to make sure these stay working. Only seat that doesn't get a handle to pull themselves in is the driver, which is a bit of a bummer, but at least we can use the running boards and maybe the steering wheel to heave yourself up into the cabin.
Oh, a little bug.
Oh, there is a little bug in here. Why don't we fire this up? It just crawled underneath the airbag. Okay, cool. So inside the Platinum 4Runner, you've got essentially everything there is to have option-wise. You've got the 14-inch screen, the 12.3-inch gauge cluster. You've got the 14-speaker JBL sound system with Emily's favorite party trick, little speaker that pops out, which is super cool to see. And we have actually used this before on, I think it was a Tacoma. I don't think that went back in all the way. There it goes. Didn't we use it once on a Tacoma? We had a bonfire at the house, and
I think so.
it's a little bit toasty in here. Yeah, nobody had a speaker, and I was like, I have a Tacoma TRD Pro. I'll use that speaker.
Yeah. But
so,
you didn't know that that was a thing. I had to show it to you.
That's right, you did. Power adjust steering column. We have height adjustable headlights, which I was using last night. Those work pretty well. You've got an adjustment here for the power running boards, which is cool. You can turn those off if you don't want to use them. And then you've got a little switch down here for your little LED light on the liftgate as well. Automatic brights. We've got heated ventilated seats in here, as well as a heated steering wheel, which has a physical button right next to your big chunky climate knobs. All of this kind of in the emphasis of big, chunky, and physical. Toyota trucks, they always kind of follow this philosophy, and nice to see that they're still doing this for the new 4Runner and the new Tacoma and Tundra and Sequoia. Lots of choices in the Toyota lineup. They've got the Land Cruiser as well, and the Lexus GX, and the Lexus LX.
Yeah. Lovely.
Many Toyota trucks
Big
to choose
truck.
from. Big truck. This is more of
yeah.
a medium-sized, small truck, though.
Yeah.
So how about places to put things? Well, you can see Emily's big dumb cup there taking up one of the cup holders. Center console is decently sized. Big physical shifter here for the 8-speed automatic. You've got a wireless charger and then a blank spot to put your phone right there as well. Drive mode selector, and then a selector to put the 4-wheel drive system in low range if you would like to do so. Little cubby up top here, and then the glove box opens like that. Check it out.
Lovely. Big glove box.
Mm-hmm. And lockable too, which I always appreciate.
You do like lockable.
Love a lockable glove box. Camera review mirror in this Platinum too, and I think it's time to exit the parking lot.
As a girly, I'm noticing there's a hook here for your purse.
See, This is why I should just bring you along for every video, because I literally would have never
It's a little
noticed
purse
that.
hook.
A purse hook.
Or
in the
like a
4Runner.
bag if you go grocery shopping.
I like the purse
I think
reason
it's
better.
nice as like a little
Yeah,
purse.
well, check it out. Okay. 4Runner girlies unite. Nice leather wrapped steering wheel here. We'll throw ourselves into reverse to show the 360 and reverse camera. Most of the time, the 4Runner will go into EV mode when you're in reverse. Not really the highest quality cameras, but they get the job done. The biggest surprise for me was to see that you don't get the transparent 360 camera in this that shows what's underneath the truck, or at least if you do, I don't have it engaged. But you do get lots of other really cool cameras here. Check that one out. Isn't that cool? Just all of the cameras. This one's cool. If you're pulling up to a curb, you can see exactly where your wheels are. So they give you pretty much the full suite of cameras in this 4Runner, and it makes it easy to place it exactly where you want it. We are still in EV mode. Must have had a really good charge on this battery. But when the 2.4 liter does come alive, the transition is sometimes audible, but you never feel it through the seat or anything. Toyota always knows what they're doing with hybrids. And even though this one's a little bit different, you know, this is not quite as streamlined as a hybrid system you'd get in a Camry or a RAV4. They're a little bit newer to this type of hybrid, but they've still done quite a good job, I would say. And this isn't new news, as you guys know. This is the third 6th generation 4Runner that we've featured here on TopherDrives, but it is the first non-off-road oriented one, so I have been curious to see what this is like. Inputs here are pretty good. You've got a nice gradual throttle response. Brake pedal can sometimes be a little bit weird if you're at a complete standstill and you're trying to creep. You sometimes have to really focus on modulating your foot, but coming to a stop from a decent speed, you're able to stop this easily and the engine will shut off and go into its electric mode. Have had a couple of weird shifts this week from the 8-speed, but mostly only the first few of the day when the gearbox is still a little bit cold. For the most part, I think they've got good tuning on this, and it doesn't fire off gear changes, but you got to remember, it's a Toyota. They're focused on self-preservation, even though that is a pretty big concern here for some people. You know, with Toyota going away from naturally aspirated engines and introducing hybridization, you know, it adds some complexity. And I haven't heard anything too crazy about this Hybrid Max 2.4 liter. I know the Tundra engine was having some problems, the V6 twin turbo hybrid. But I think they've had better luck with this 4-cylinder. But if you own one, or if you work at a Toyota dealership, please do let me know in the comments how this has been for you over the last couple of years. I just like driving this around. I like the way it makes me feel. I like driving around with all 6 of the windows down, because you can roll that back one down. You've got the sunroof, and I've got this sort of routine now when I get in this car. It's been a beautiful week, so I roll all 4 windows down, and then I roll these 2 down up here. And it's just a nice sort of open air experience in the 4Runner. So with this Platinum, you get AVS, the Adaptive Variable Suspension, which means you get many drive modes: Custom, Sport S Plus, Normal, Comfort, and Eco. We'll go into Sport S Plus, even though our corner is going to be blocked by this, what is probably a DTE truck. But having the AVS in this 4Runner has been very interesting, and it's been fun for me to kind of learn about this week. Because normally, you only see this suspension setup in something like a Lexus or a Toyota Crown, you know, so it's cool to have the adaptive dampers here. in the 4Runner and, you know, have dampers that aren't off-road oriented. These are on-road dampers, so you can put this into comfort mode and it does soften everything up pretty well. I've been driving this in comfort mode most of the week, and I would say I'm like 90% satisfied with the dampers and the overall tuning of this system here. But overall steering feel is pretty light. I would call this medium light. I wouldn't call it pinky light or ultra light like you get on a Hyundai Palisade or something. But another thing I want to show off is this turning circle. It's fantastic. Very easy to maneuver your 4Runner. All right, let's get this off the line in Sport S Plus. You ready?
Yep.
And there's 60. You know, I remembered these being a little bit quicker. I don't know what it is about the Platinum. Maybe it's got a less aggressive tune than the TRD Pro, but that's kind of the 4Runner that's fresh on my brain. I don't know, I feel like the TRD Pro is faster. I mean, it's got a different intake and exhaust, but, you know, Toyota claimed the same power numbers between that and this. So did this feel quick to you at all?
That's quick enough.
Yeah, it's quick enough. It feels like there's a bit of boost by gear going on. First gear is very sluggish. And then it feels like it hits a little bit harder when the 8-speed shifts into second.
Oh, another one.
Ah! It's a 5th gen 4Runner. Do you think they'll wave at me?
Why not?
She wasn't even looking.
Trying to Jeep wave.
I know, I'm trying to Jeep wave at a 4Runner. Do 4Runners have a wave? Speaking of Jeep wave, here's one that didn't accelerate very well. Passing power here, pretty decent. You've got the torque, 465 pound-feet, 5,500 pounds, so it's almost 3 tons. It's got 465 pound-feet of torque, so it can get out of its own way. It's decently quick, like we've already discussed, but definitely not the fastest thing in the world. I don't think it needs to be. You know, it definitely feels better than the old naturally aspirated V6 that they used to put in these that was pretty gutless, and it had that ancient 5-speed automatic, and you know, we've gone over all this in the old 4Runner videos, but it is nice to drive a 4Runner with a modern powertrain. But, you know, there's also the argument that the older 4Runners are more bulletproof. There's another 5th gen up there. I have a good friend that has a 5th gen 4Runner. He loves it. The heritage is strong. People love them, and I know that there are a lot of mixed reviews from the 4Runner community on this new 6th gen. Anyway, okay, we can just be real for a second here. What's it like on the highway? There's a little bit of wind noise. That doesn't really help closing the sunroof shade. But I think this is the first 4Runner press car I've ever driven that doesn't have a stupid dealer accessory roof box on the top of it, which means it's not nearly as loud as any of those. And I think it's probably the quietest 4Runner that I've experienced on the highway, so that is nice. It should be, because it's the Platinum. But also I think highway manners are good, and I want to touch on these dampers again, because there's always a slight unsettledness to a body-on-frame vehicle like this one. And these adaptive dampers in comfort mode, they do a pretty good job dialing out, like I said, 80 to 90% of this. The ride quality is really nice. I mean, for a body-on-frame truck, what do you think about ride quality?
It's nice.
Yeah. I know you're yawning over there. That's a good sign.
Testing the knackability. We're so close to our destination.
Test it out. Put the, is there a power seat there? It should be.
It is.
There you go.
You know, we always go to Costco when it rains.
We do. One time, we ran out of Costco, and I had to use, what did I have to use to cover my, oh wow, you're going all the way back. I used a box of chicken patties to cover my head from the rain.
Give me a pillow, I'm out.
No, these seats are super comfortable. They've got pretty good adjustment too. You've got lumbar that goes up, down, in, and out, which I always like to see.
I would really, truly think that.
This would be, I think it'd be a decent road trip vehicle comfort-wise.
Really good.
You've got the front air dam, which would help, allegedly would help the fuel economy. We should actually see what the average has been all week, because I did reset it as soon as I got into this. We go through the 1,000 different menus on the gauge cluster. Still haven't found. There you go. 18.6 is what I've been averaging this week, and this is with a couple of Winding Road Magazine videos mixed in, so there has been some spirited driving. But still averaging 5 mpg below what the EPA rates this average, or 4.5 mpg below. Look at this lifted Lincoln Town Car.
Yeah.
That is proper stuff right there. Visibility out of the 4Runner is pretty good. You've got big side view mirrors. The camera mirror obviously helps, but even without it, I guess there's a little bit of vision impairment here with the rear, the second row headrests, but no problem at all for me. And then you have the full Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 suite in this, so you've got the adaptive cruise with lane tracing. All of the adjustments are available via physical buttons on the steering wheel. We always like to see that. The Topher and I always like to note that we missed the little stalk that came off the side of the wheel on the older Toyota and Lexus vehicles. But hey, at least they didn't take this away completely like some manufacturers have. You have to go in the screen to adjust your distance. I like the massive volume knob right here in the middle. It's just like a very punchable volume knob. If you want to power off, just punch it. And then it turns on the FM radio. There's another 4Runner coming up. Jeez. Actually, that might be the one I tried to wave at. I think it is. I think it's the same one. Yeah, kudos to these dampers. It's soaking just about everything up. There is a little bit of a floatiness to them when you hit some kind of bigger gradual stuff that can be sometimes a little bit unsettling. But they're pretty dialed in otherwise. You also got a spot up here for your sunglasses, which I should be using for mine, and hope I don't send those back to Toyota.
You probably should take them out.
Okay, I agree with that. Favorite thing about this powertrain is the mid-range torque. Seldom do you have to wait for this to downshift. Usually you can just use the power of whatever gear you're in. And then right now we're coasting in EV mode. Is that tire squeal?
That was some tire squeal, for sure.
What's funny to me too is the throttle response is still pretty snappy when you lift off, even in comfort mode. If you lift your foot completely off, you do kind of fall forward a little bit in the seat. Ergonomics in the cabin are quite nice. You've got even elbow heights, and the surfaces are pretty cozy as well. You've got a good amount of squish. I wonder if maybe they add squish on the Platinum, because I don't remember the other 4Runners having a super cozy console like this. And then you actually have a little bit less padding over here on the driver's door panel, but main focus on seating position in this is fantastic. I love sitting high up in an SUV like this one, and it's kind of a signature of Toyota trucks. You know, you can just rest your elbow here on the door sill, rest your hand on the steering wheel, and you can see very well over the hood. And with this having the design elements of, you know, the edges of the hood being a little bit raised, it does make it easier to place this in parking lots too. But I've always loved seating position in Toyota trucks. I think they nail it. How's passenger seat comfort?
Super comfy. Yeah, it also has four-way lumbar adjustments.
Really? Oh, okay.
Up, down, out, and in.
Test these dampers. Quite good.
Very good.
Very good. I do almost every time I drive through this neighborhood, I forget it has speed bumps.
Yeah.
And that first one sneaks up on you.
It does.
So it does oftentimes, if I'm in something like an Elantra N, I have to like lock up the brakes. However, 4Runner, slow down a little to 20, completely fine. Should we show them the windows down situation?
Surely.
All right, so all four of those down, push for the back window to go down, and then you hold the open button for the sunroof. And then you've got the full open air experience here in the 4Runner. We'll give Mr. Lawn Crew plenty of room. You can never go a full TopherDrives video without the appearance of a lawn crew. But That's the other thing about this. I mean, the door panel height is also good to kind of rest your arm out the window. It's just, you know, it's just kind of the vibe of the 4Runner. You know, you throw your surfboards in the back, arm out the window, wear one of those stupid visor hats and your sunglasses, and cruise up the PCH.
Surfing in Malibu.
That's right. It's a Land Cruiser. Very nice rig, sir.
Caffeine beverage time.
It's time for a zesty drink.
A zesty drink.
Yeah. I'm gonna back this right in the corner, because why would I not? Use these cameras, get us squeezed right over here in the corner. I think the size of the 4Runner is another perk, because, you know, you could go a little bit bigger, you could get a Sequoia, but it's just a little bit more of a hassle. Whereas this fits in the spot perfectly fine. Parking brake automatically applies when you put the transmission into park. We'll roll this back window up. It's a one touch. And then so is the sunroof. Or moonroof. You call this a moonroof, I guess. Cool. And that's that. All right, well, we've got somebody quite close. We're going to let her get out first, I think, so we don't hit our doors at the same time. And this is actually a really good test to see how 4Runner fits in a parking spot. Power running board coming down there. You can go one click. I think two would be, yeah, two would be touching this car next to you. So if you're in a small parking lot, you can still make it work. So all right, well, we're gonna run in and get some coffees. Emily's gonna get a matcha, I think, but then we will come back out and resume our living with video.
Look how pretty my matcha is.
Very pretty. Walking back up to the 4Runner, you can see we have proxy key. The little step comes down, and the passenger does actually get a little hidden grab handle in here, which is nice. I wish the driver got the same sort of thing. But doesn't look like we have any rear proxy key on this, which I feel like is just so normal for the 2026 model year. More cars need to have rear proxy key. But anyway, we won't beat that dead horse anymore, even though we like to beat dead horses here. All right, let's get back on the road. We're gonna make our next stop, which is Costco. Oh, does this have any accessories over here? It doesn't. Usually when we get these press 4Runners, they have a little like flashlight or something that goes in this little area, but this is the cover panel for if it doesn't have an accessory. Okay, there you go. Let's test interior quietness with the lawn crew in the background. Decent.
Yeah.
Ooh, how's the matcha?
Spectacular.
Is it blueberry?
It's blueberry.
Mmm,
It's really good.
very good. Using our physical camera button to see everything out here. I love a physical camera button.
Yes.
Big enjoyer of that. We getting anything else at Costco or just totes?
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup, okay. It's always funny going to Costco because it's always the most random combination of, I was going to say ingredients, but things. Like you go there and you buy like 8 tote bins and a bottle of maple syrup, and that's just like normal for
Yeah.
Costco. I'll tell you what, here's something I can compliment: the vent placement. Very good. Blasting my hands right now. And the ventilated seat is quite powerful.
It is really nice.
Actually, that's doing a really good job too.
I'm actually trying mine down because I'm a little chilly.
Okay, well there you go, there's proof. Something else that's powerful that we should probably test before we end the video is the JBL sound system. Why don't we get a song queued up? Oh, I got a new sound system test song. You haven't listened to it yet. Would you like to?
Surely.
Keep
part about this sound system is this big volume knob here in the middle. So easy to adjust, and it's got a very, you should feel it. It's very silky.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But also, these JBL systems, they just get better and better, and we've experienced this sound system before, but you've got nice punches from the bass, you've got crispy highs here with these little tweeters and your little removable JBL speaker up there as well, and I love that feature of it. I love that Toyota's kind of, at least it seems like they've invested a little bit more time and money into these JBLs. I honestly don't feel like this is even a huge step down from a Mark Levinson you'd get in a Lexus GX. So just things to consider, because there are just so many choices in the segment and even within Toyota. We talked about that earlier, but even like Toyota trucks that are this size, like there's just so many. So if you're narrowing it down, just know that you feel the coolest driving the 4Runner or the GX. Although you feel pretty cool in the Land Cruiser too. Hard decisions to make. But I think big highlights with the 4Runner is that it still feels like a 4Runner, which is very important. The seating position is fantastic. All of the tech and user interface, all this stuff in here, it's very easy to figure out. I mean, you could put Mima in this car and she'd be able to adjust her climate control, adjust her volume, you know, set a destination with the voice command in there. And it's all easy to use. And I know we joke that stuff is punchable, but in a truck, in something that's meant to do more than just drive around and go to coffee in Costco, it's nice to have controls that are easy. Are there things we don't like about the 4Runner?
I don't think so.
I feel like there's like hypotheticals with this truck. Like, yeah, you could say that the powertrain is a bit too complex. And I guess there are still some kind of cheap, scratchy plastic materials in here. Like maybe I would like to see a nicer top of dashboard sort of setup. But I feel like, ooh, look at that Roush Super Duty. That's pretty cool. I think there are some like very petty little adjustments that I would make to the throttle and brake tuning on like when you're creeping at an intersection or something, you know, sometimes, Civic Type R, sometimes it's possible to not apply enough pressure, and sometimes the truck creeps when you don't think it's creeping. But that's me like trying really hard to come up with stuff that I don't like about this. I mean, it's been a really great vehicle to live with for the past few days, and we're gonna go right here. I suspect this person works here too. We're gonna want the trunk accessible so we can load stuff into it. Okay, stop number 2. We're gonna go in and get some more stuff. We'll come back out and load the car, and then we'll wrap this one up. Welcome back to the haul of totes and 1 bottle of maple syrup. Emily is already in the passenger seat of the 4Runner, and we're going to see if we can fit all these totes back here. I'm not too worried about it. I don't really think we're going to have a problem here. But if these were something that were a bit heavier, you probably wouldn't super appreciate lifting them up and over. For one, this cargo net, but also the super high load surface. Now, it looks like maybe, yeah, if we can move this guy up. There we go. Okay. Should be good to do 5 and 5. These totes are the perfect size to not fit in the shopping cart in front of the stupid baby part. It just makes it very, very hard to get out. There we go. Okay. This is the second time now I've bought totes in a car, but I think they fit better in the 4Runner than they do in the Genesis G90. Okay, I think that is good. If I lock the lids onto the containers, I think they're going to stick too far this way. So we have to stagger them a bit. But I think that is just about capacity for the back of a 4Runner. Let's close this and see if it fits. Come on, baby. Yes, it is locked. And we're going to return our shopping cart. Unlike this person, we'll go ahead and do their work for them too. Left the cart blocking a spot and left trash in it. You can't really get too much worse than that, but there you go. We've now freed up that parking spot. Let's go back to the 4Runner and we'll wrap this one up. I think we're going to actually go to the grocery store, but we'll go ahead and wrap the video here. And now, I'm very thankful for the camera mirror. So it doesn't matter what's in the back. Ooh, look at this hoss coming in.
Love.
Very good.
Blue is great.
Yes. All right, let's take an entrance ramp and hope that the maple syrup holds on. I'm going to put this into Sport S Plus.
Hey, at least the lids aren't going anywhere. You are squealing tires around this corner, mister.
Pretty long gears, but hey, that was an adequate entrance ramp.
That was really good.
The body roll really wasn't that crazy here, despite the vehicle. Same, actually. That's the first kind of like hard corner I've taken with this week, just because I've been putzing it around in typical body on frame SUV fashion. But man, okay, so the 4Runner Platinum can hold its own in a corner. Cool. All right, well, I guess kind of perfect time to wrap this one up as we pull up to our last stop of the day, the grocery store. Took you guys along for the full run of errands today with us, so hopefully you enjoyed that. But personally, like, I was excited when I saw this car pop up on the schedule because I wanted to experience just kind of the raw form of the 4Runner that wasn't hopped up to go off-road with crazy dampers and crazy wheels and tires and all the sort of off-road tech. I wanted to drive just a regular 4Runner. I know this is the top luxury trim and things, and it has a lot of stuff, but I think the pure essence of the 4Runner, it's still good in its regular form here for 6th generation. Like, I think this is a pretty suitable daily, and what I like about the 4Runner is that it does kind of compete with Wrangler and Bronco, not directly, but kind of, you know, sort of off to the side. And I like this as a more usable option that isn't super loud inside, but has a pretty good sound system that feels very well built. You know, the door closes and things and stuff you touch in here, it does feel decently nice. And you're still able to use this for off-roading. I mean, you can get a different trim that goes off-road, or you can just rip the front air dam off of this and use your locking center diff and all the stuff that comes on the Platinum. But I just like that there is essentially a 4Runner for everybody. And I guess if you're Kim Kardashian and you want a 4Runner, then the Platinum is here for you. If you want to drive up and down Rodeo in a 4Runner, then this Heritage Blue, it's no China Blue G-Wagon, but hey, this is a third of the price. Actually, this is probably a quarter of the price of a China Blue G63. So you could have 4 of these for the same price as one of those. I've enjoyed living with this week. It hasn't been cumbersome. I haven't really felt like I'm sacrificing anything driving this around, because it does really feel like the perfect size, and I like using it. So I would like it better if there wasn't maple syrup rolling around in the back, but that is my fault. Cool, let's park among some Subaru Outbacks here and go into the grocery store, but this is the point in the video where we let you guys go. Well, let's show you the outside of this Platinum 4Runner one last time, and then that will be it. Do you have any final thoughts on the Platinum 4Runner?
I would love to road trip this.
Yeah, maybe we should road trip a 4Runner. You could hang a purse from the purse hook.
Yeah, and take a good nap.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, let's show you the outside one last time. We'll wait for our little power running board to come down. And that will be that. Thank you guys all so much for joining us today in our little mini day in the life with this thing. Happy that I finally got to live with a non-TRD Pro Toyota truck, because it's cool to see what else they offer. But let me know if you have any questions about this 4Runner. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys again all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.